Bill Butler, and he's got some new projects going on. So, aside from acting, what do you think is the more lenient occupation in the industry that you pretty much filled?
What, you mean the one that I enjoy the most?
Yeah, or anything that's most difficult position to actually hold. I mean, acting.
I mean, they're all difficult.
Oh yeah, they're all difficulty in equal ways. But I mean, what's the most that it's real?
I think the one that I currently, as a person who owns a production company, I would probably say that that's the hardest thing that I've done. But it's the most rewarding because you are in control of your own destiny. When I was acting, obviously, you have to go by what the script is, and I had to constantly starve myself and do all that stuff to kind of look the way I needed to look and all that. So I think my current position is more difficult, although it's far more rewarding. Mm-hmm. On acting, I mean, there's tons of rejection. You learn very quickly to just kind of not care about what people say or whatever, because you book like 1 in 30 appointments is about the average. So it's like going to 30 job interviews and only booking one of those job interviews. So it's like you get an extremely thick skin really quickly. Lucky for me, I started so young that I kind of started at the right age to be a performer, and I kind of fell into a rhythm where I was kind of booking everything that I was auditioning for, which was great. And being a complete horror fan, I got to live out my fantasies of working with some of my favorite horror icons, which is I feel as if I'm the luckiest guy in the world on that end of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, who would love to get their ass killed by Jason Voorhees?
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to work and in Alabama where we shot the movie, and thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe I saw the first movie pardon me, at the drive-in theater, and I didn't have any idea that I was going to be appearing in one of the sequels. It's like the strangest thing, but a really great thing,
Oh yeah, I mean, aside from that, now it's a new generation of film. I mean, the high technology, it's advanced a lot, and even with TV shows. But the question is, on TV show wise, there's no TV shows anymore. There's no like Stephen King's The Shining, where he came out with a mini series.
Yeah, I know. That's. I mean, think about all those old shows like Twilight Zone and Night Gallery, and even Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I was a huge fan of. There's really nothing. I guess what is it called with the two guys that it's on CBS or whatever. The two guys that are always trying to debunk. What is it called?
The Ghost Hunter Taps?
Yeah, no. There's one with the two guys are brothers, and they always end up running into all this sort of paranormal activity and stuff. It's a narrative show, but other than that show, there's not really very many of them anymore. The business is very weird right now. I mean, frankly, there aren't that many low-budget horror films being made, these days, because the business is in such a state of flux right now with people pirating, and you can't really make money on a little movie unless you have a complete marketing team and sales team behind you. You gotta sell it right out of the gate, because if you try to distribute it yourself, even with Demonic Toys, which I did for Charles Band. It came out, and a week later it was already on the torrent site. So you have to be. The business is really difficult, and that's why you see less and less horror stuff. It's really sad,
Oh yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's dying. The horror. How many horror films have you seen this year that is not a fucking remake?
Right, exactly. I mean, the whole horror industry is like it's weird. I mean, it started out. When I was little, there was only Famous Monsters magazine. And the horror community at the time felt as if it was only a handful of people, when obviously it was hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands of people. But it was much more a sense of community where everybody, I watched every horror film that came out. I didn't care if it was a really small film or a really big film. I watched everything, and it wasn't quite as mean-spirited as it is now. Now there are all these different camps. Either you're a Fangoria person, or you're a bloody disgusting person, or you're shocked to you. There's all these different camps, and everybody has their little team of things that they like. There's the people that like gore, and then there's the people that like monsters, and it's strange. it's kind of turned into an amoeba that's kind of eating itself. You know, it's like it's strange. I think that things are going to change. For one, there's not going to be any more product left because you know, they're just people don't want to make small movies right now because of the piracy issues. But what's about to happen is they are about to come up with some very, very strict laws regarding uploading movies and downloading movies. In fact, or getting DVDs and making copies of them. Pretty soon you're going to go on these torrent sites and you're going to download a movie, and about a month later you're going to get a bill in the mail because they're going to start putting out movies that have bugs in them, so that they can figure out, you know, they read your IP and they know your address and everything. It's really going to be crazy, and it sounds kind of yucky, you know. But the truth of the matter is it's only something like that when people stop, you know, stealing movies. Is it that movies are going to be made again? You know, it's like I don't know about you, but I am still that fanboy that I love watching movies where guys, you know, this guy, for instance, Chris Ruffy, this filmmaker, I just think he's the greatest guy. You know, he'll just do anything. He'll just write a script and he'll shoot it himself, and I love those kind of films if they're good. You know, I like to watch them. I don't mind a movie if it's a $5,000 horror film, or in his case, you know, more than that. There's some that are made for nothing, and others that are, you know, higher budgets. I think those are going to be coming. Those are going to come back, and those are going to shine. I think iTunes is really going to like set a precedent for people being able to make their own stuff and download it.
Mm-hmm. But do you pretty much, unless your film has actually been leaked out?
My films have not been leaked out, only because I have been fortunate enough. Well, that's not true. Like I said, Demonic Toys got leaked out for, you know, the minute it was for sale.
Yeah, that's right.
With Madhouse, the film I directed, that was for a studio, and they time it very carefully. It's already, you know, it came out theatrically in parts of the world. They time it so that you can't really steal it. You know, by the time you can steal it, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, same thing with Furnace, which I did for the Weinstein Company. They're really smart. They know how to do it. And eventually it is leaked, you know, into these sites, and eventually you can download it. And I suppose in some ways it's flattering. It's just when, you know, Demonic Toys, no matter how much, it's a very small movie. I did it as a favor for Charles Band, who I've been friends with for 25 years. It's disappointing to see the movie on YouTube like 5 days after it comes out. It's like, oh, give the poor guy a break. Let him at least make his money back. You know, it's it's really sad, but I have to say I'm as guilty as anyone for like kind of digging around on there. And if there's anything obscure or watching trailers, you know, YouTube is really good for that stuff. But
oh yeah, I mean the trailer when it comes out, it's like of course you want to go see it. But I mean once the film's out, usually anything that's leaked out, it's the unfinished product. Why the hell you want to get something half-assed?
Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, it's gonna change a little bit. It's gonna take a little while, but it will be. It's going to be a really cool one of these days.
I mean, hopefully you'll see more films actually pretty much rotating even on the Xbox 360 system. I mean, you know, form, you know, pretty much all over the place. It'll soon, you know, be more advertisement-wise, and you'll actually get some money out of this film, you know.
Right. Well, I by the time a movie comes out, I'm okay. I'm usually covered because I either write the movie and it's already sold and I'm protected, or when I'm directing something, I'm usually paid. By the time it's out for the public, I'm already paid and out of the picture, so I'm okay. I just feel bad for the people that, you know, that pay for the movie that don't make their money back. I mean, even Charles Band, who makes very small projects, spends a couple $100,000 on a movie, and it's sad to think that, you know, after 5 days he may not get his money back because, you know, people are downloading it. It's just very I hate to turn this interview all about downloading, but I mean it's a really big problem.
Oh, it's a huge issue in film, especially when you like, for example, Demonic Toys, a new one. It's brand new,
right?
And all. It's just like bands, you know. You get one single out, then they end up downloading the whole album before it's even sold.
Right.
It's really sad.
It is. And, you know, the thing about the full moon movies is they're very harmless. I mean, they're very just kind of mindless fun.
Yeah, it's almost like between horror and fantasy-like.
Yeah, and, you know, I have to tell you, you know, Charlie came to me, had lunch with me, and said, you know, like I said before, I've known him since I was 17 years old. I used to work for him when I was 17. I got sent to Italy, and I've known him forever. And so when he came to me and said, I want you to direct a movie for me, once I had become a director, I agreed because I think he is a really great guy, and he's given me so much work. But I will say that those movies are really difficult to do because they are so, you know, puppets and makeup effects and all that stuff with very little money. And in this case, in Demonic Toys, we shot in Italy, so it was very taxing. But I had a really great time. It was fun to, you know, Charles told me, you know, he wanted me to do the movie. I told him no originally because I just didn't have time to do it. No matter how small the project is, you still end up getting drug into it because there's a lot of stuff to do when you're putting a movie together, no matter how small it is. And you know, he's like, oh well, you know, I'm going to film it in my castle in Italy. And I just thought to myself, like, you know, no matter how much I feel about these little tiny movies, I just cannot die having told someone that I passed up on the opportunity to sleep in a 900-year-old castle. You know what I mean? So we went there and we did it, and we made the best damn little tiny movie that we could make.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, look at Killer Tomatoes.
Exactly.
They're probably like, what, not even $200 to make that film? Hey, look, let's roll a tomato across the road. Ah!
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, so whatever. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's Demonic Toys. Like I tell all the haters out there, and we all know that in our community we have a certain amount of them. Look, the movie's called Demonic Toys 2. Just do yourself a favor. If it's going to upset you, don't watch it.
Yep.
If you just want to chill out, in many cases on full moon movies, smoke weed, and hang out, enjoy yourself, and just put the movie in and, you know, have a good time, and don't look for too much subtext in a movie called Demonic Toys.
I mean, it's not like watching the Zodiac or anything.
Right, exactly. It's like it's made in 5 days, so I don't know what to say. But for me, it's okay. We had a good time. We're gonna have a big party on Friday. I recently bought a soundstage here in Burbank where I have a Disney Channel show, and we work on, you know, part of my team works on the Disney Channel show that I produce, and we're going to dress our soundstage like a movie premiere. We're going to make it really cool and have popcorn and beer and put in a red carpet and make it a really fun event, even though it's for a very small movie. We're going to turn it into a big party.
Oh yeah, even Disney, you still have managed the time to take some beer.
Yeah, I love working for Disney. I mean, I'm very, very lucky. They're extremely generous to me, so I've got nothing bad to say about them, and I don't think you would either if you were working here.
No, definitely not. Yeah, hanging with Mickey Mouse and then having a beer on the side. That's
trust me when I tell you that if they like you, they take very good care of you. So it's why I was able to buy a soundstage. You know, it's like I own a 4,000-foot soundstage that they have helped me purchase. So I have nothing but praise for them.
Nice. We'll definitely get more into the Demonic Toys here in a minute, but films as well in this generation now has CGI. Do you think it should be used more or less?
Well, here's the thing is, you know, I'm really learning that the fans just hate it, don't they?
Oh, dude, it's just like, as I said this before, it's just like on a canvas, and it has, you know, painting on the canvas, and you add other colors to it, to the original painting,
right.
It's going to look like shit.
Right, it's true. I get it. You know, I have to say, there's a part of me that says, you know, if I can speak frankly, that a lot is the big deal is made out of being made out of nothing. And that's part of me that says that. But I do agree. It is definitely distracting, isn't it? It looks different. Now, there are times when we can't help it.
Yep.
I'm making a movie called Demonic Toys 2 that I'm shooting in 5 days, and there are puppets in the movie, And if you've ever been on a movie set before, you'll see that shooting puppets is extremely taxing. It's next to impossible, a lot of the stuff that you need to have them do. And so, by the time you cut the movie together, now it was in our plan, don't get me wrong, it was in our plan to use CG all along in Demonic Toys too. So I'm not making excuses, but there were definitely things in Demonic Toys where it was like, oh my gosh, we don't have this shot by proxy of filming so quickly, and so we would say, gosh, we need a shot where the puppet's running down the hallway or whatever, and we did the CG. Now for me, on a movie like that, it was a necessity where I don't really care, but it's really funny, like, aside from some of the very frank and personal critiques that that I've sworn that I would never read, I can't seem to stop Googling. One of the biggest bitches that anybody that critiques the movie complains about is that they don't like CG. And so I would say what I've learned from this, and as I am still learning, is I think on smaller movies, I think I will work really hard from this point on to just make them as gory and puppet filled as possible without doing any CG at all, and give the fans what they want. If the fans are the only ones that are watching these movies, then I suppose it's our obligation as filmmakers to give them what they want. Though for me personally, it doesn't really shut down my thought process while I'm watching a movie if there's a shot where there's a CG thing. In some movies, the whole thing is, the whole creature is.
You mean like Journey to the Center of the Earth, or the remake, I should say, and
also there's like just a lot of Sci-Fi Channel movies where the monster is.
Oh man, dude, that.
But what would you prefer? Would you prefer that it be a guy in a rubber suit running around? I mean, does that look better? Like, I don't know.
All right, shell out some cash to actually make a decent monster, but don't.
The ironic thing is that the CG monsters cost more than the rubber ones.
I know. It's like you're willing to let's say you want to cut someone's head off.
Yeah.
You're not willing to go out and buy a prosthetic head or mold a head, but you're willing to do just the paint in, which costs probably more than $80,000.
It costs much more.
But between
I would say cut off heads should be an exception to the rule though, because cut off heads look pretty good when a face is.
Oh yeah.
That looks pretty disturbing, actually.
I mean, if you got the body for it,
yeah.
and if you want to CGI it, fine. But as long as it actually looks like a decapitation, not just overdone, it's like, come on, that doesn't happen.
Oh my gosh! And on this freaking Demonic Toys too. I mean, you have to understand that Charles Band does things very, very small budgets and very quickly, and when you don't have a lot of money to rig stuff up, I mean, oh my gosh, like some of these blood shots, and I just can't even begin to tell you. Be happy that we had to use some of this blood stuff, or there would be no blood at all on some of these things. Like, when you're filming 15 pages a day. Which is next to impossible. The average movie is like you do a quarter of a page in a day. Yep. Is really difficult. So in this particular instance, for Demonic Toys 2, I'm perfectly okay with what we did.
Yeah. So you pretty much went back to the old way, huh?
Well, what I wanted to do was, I'm not a fan of some of the people that create movies for Charlie. I feel are real, like, are very, they just kind of shit it out because of the constraints that you have by doing a small movie. For much as the movie is not like a friggin' brilliant movie, I tried really hard to at least make it look like an old school like Empire movie, which is what I like. And I think that I accomplished that. Now, is it a brilliant movie? No, because by proxy of it being, the formula that is a full moon movie, which is people trapped in one location and dolls or something small comes and kills them, It is what it is. I mean, it's funny, we're getting ready for this screening, and I was like telling my friends, it's like, no, listen, this isn't Madhouse, I didn't get a month and a half to do this. This is a little fun little movie. If you like to watch people being tortured by puppets, then you're going to be in heaven. If you don't get it, you're not going to be in heaven.
I mean, you could love Puppet Master, but yet you hate Child's Play?
I love Child's Play.
I mean, come on, it's a dude that gets stuck in a doll. I mean, it's funny. It was showing off Child's Play, and then Dee Snider was showing, and he's saying, "Don't step on it."
I have to tell you, I can't think of any horror film that I really hate. I guess the remake of The Wicker Man I thought was kind of stupid, but I mean, I guess there's something good to be found in everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a geek who's happy that anybody makes any horror film. I love them all.
I mean, if it's a horror film, yeah, as long as it's not a fucking remake every single month. Oh, look, remake Buried Alive, remake Prom Night, remake... stop!
That Prom Night movie, it's like, you know, that's the kind of thing where you just go, well, why? Why did you even do it? You know, I was up to write that thing. I didn't get it, but it's like, why? It wasn't even good the first time they did it.
I mean, even if it wasn't great the first time, why would you want to go back and watch it again?
Dude, and you would not believe the movies that I hear are being remade. You wouldn't even believe them.
Oh, yeah, RoboCop is one.
Well, now they do the remakes. It's like the movie's not even old yet.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Zodiac was also a remake, believe it or not. It was made like in 2007, and like, 2008 or so it was remade, and had that dude from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I mean, with remakes, it's, as I say, it's like a cover band. You're covering a track. I don't want to listen to that same track. I want to go listen to the original artist that did it. I don't want to go listen to it again by someone else.
So what's your feeling? So your feeling is about this whole CG thing is that the fans really hate that.
Yeah, well, quite a bit of fans do. But the thing is, with CGI, it's only good if it's at certain moments where it absolutely needs it.
But what do you feel about movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, where there's certain characters that are entirely CG? Are you okay with that?
It's okay.
Yeah.
If necessary.
All right. Gosh, there's so many rules. I need to write all these.
Don't pretty much look at Indiana Jones. And
fucking people are a handful.
No, I know. But look at Indiana Jones and the Crystal.
Yeah, go home at the end of the day?
Yeah.
No? Alright. Alright, I'll do it. No more CG for a little while.
Yeah, tone down the CGI, dude. I mean, don't...
Oh, my God.
I mean, you might as well just not have anybody in the film if you're going to paint it all with CGI.
Jeez.
You might as well just make it animated if you're going to 3D. You know, go watch, Ice Age then if you're going to watch it.
That's funny.
But, I mean, if it's necessary, then use it. But don't,
I think it's, I don't know. Sometimes it's funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're horror-wise, again, you overdo it, it looks like shit, and it just looks like it doesn't even look like, oh, yeah, his arm wouldn't really do that. I mean, come on. Cut his arm off, splurt out some blood, but don't do it like it's an ocean of blood. I mean, that's just stupid.
All right, calm down. All right, let's keep moving, because I got to get out of here pretty soon. What else is going on?
Let's get back a little bit in remakes.
Okay.
As far as remakes-wise, that's all you ever see is chick flicks and remakes.
Right.
So the question is, what do you feel on the future of horror? Is it going to actually live on, or is it just going to be what it is now? I'll
tell you what it's going to do. Is it's going to implode on itself. I was just talking about this yesterday. Funny you should mention that. Well, there are several things that are about to happen. The horror industry is going to implode on itself because they can't keep doing remakes. They can't.
No.
And, all these directors that are these kind of so-called, name directors are no longer names because nobody's will spend the money anymore to hire them. Like you hear of these really famous directors I'm not going to name. They can't get jobs because nobody's making horror films right now because of pirating, and there's just no material. So what's going to end up happening is, from this dry spell that we are having, there is going to be a revolution, and no one knows what it is, but everybody's waiting for it to happen. Mm-hmm. As much as I personally hate the movie, and I don't know if you like the movie, I'll tell you, movies like Paranormal Activity are a good example of something getting popular out of necessity. I don't particularly think that the movie is clever or entertaining for me personally, but I'll tell you what it was is it's different, and that's why everyone latched onto it. What's going to happen is that by proxy of so much shit being put out there that people just aren't going to watch anymore, writers, directors, producers are going to be forced to come up with some stuff that is unlike anything that we've ever seen before, and it probably isn't going to be a big CG thing. It's probably going to be something simple where one man is in a room or a woman is laying in bed, like in Paranormal Activity. Like is that the name of that film? Is that the name of it?
I believe so. Yeah.
It's going to be forced to evolve. It will be forced to evolve, and we all, as filmmakers, will be forced to evolve because there can only be so much shit that's out there before somebody is going to have to think of something that reinvents the genre, you know?
Yep. I mean, sooner or later, we're going to get sick of watching these remakes come out every...
Yeah, it may be a mix of drama and, you know, maybe something that, like you... I have a feeling it's going to be like something that you've never seen before. I don't know what, but you know, you see little things, like you see his kind of Cloverfield was a kind of interesting...
Yeah, I mean, it's something, but, I mean, the city's not exactly the best place.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is the fact that, you know, it's all shot by people with camcorders, or there's going to be something that's going to be, you know, look at when Saw came out. I'm not a fan of the Saw movies because I don't like, you know, just violence for the heck of it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, look at what Saw did. Saw came out, and Saw really laid the foundation for a lot of other, you know, Gorno kind of things, and that's a good example of something's going to come out that's going to set a precedence, and it'll be the new thing that everyone's doing for the next 8 years, you know, before everyone gets sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when a good example would be video games going to film. It doesn't go very well at all.
Really translate, yeah, because part of the fun of playing a video game is that you are controlling the story yourself, so that when you're watching the parameters of a game that's organic, and then you're watching a movie that is not organic, it's not nearly as fun. You know?
What they do with the video game, when we put the film, they take out almost everything from the original video game, and then they just pretty much add other stuff. Just
that makes me
tidbits of, for a good example, Silent Hill. The main character is a man.
That's absolutely crazy, you know.
It is. I mean, in Resident Evil, it has nothing to do with the first.
Yeah.
But moving on, we gotta wind down the time. But we're gonna get as far as demonic toys. Let's get into that now.
Sure.
How long in production has the new demonic toys been in ever since the release?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
How long has the new demonic toys been in production since its current release?
Well, like I said, he met with me in like December of last year, and I think we shot in early April, and then we edited it together. And you know, it takes about a year before a movie is fully done. Mm-hmm. Particularly when there's opticals. There's a lot of opticals in this movie, and that took a little time to do all the rotoscoping and all that stuff. It was about a year altogether. But from the time that we thought of what we wanted to do to the script, takes a month and a half to cast it. I had to get to Italy for a month to get turned around, get my jet lag out of my system, and get ready to shoot this whirlwind 5-day shoot. You know, we had to build stuff in the castle, and it was fun. It was a really great time. The actors are phenomenal. I put some close friends in the movie. Leslie Jordan from the show Will and Grace is in the movie. Selene Luna from the Margaret Cho show is in the movie. Billy Marquardt from the Janice Dickerson show. A lot of people. We were really fortunate to get actors that actually had a pedigree in the project. I felt that certainly helped me get the movie done, you know, on time, because they're really good about nailing their performances in only a couple of takes, which is, you know, I didn't have the luxury of shooting things over and over again.
Yeah.
Say about a year.
That's not too bad as far as its release, because some films take like 10, 15 years to actually be released.
Right. Yeah. No. Charlie does things very quickly. He's been doing this for about 25 years, 30 years, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. He knows exactly how much he should spend. Well, I don't know that should spend, but will spend. And he's very has his own system. He's got his own thing going on. I'm actually very proud that I know him. I use him as as inspiration for someone to be working in the business for so long. Whether or not you are a fan of his movies or not, you cannot deny that the guy is, he's created his own industry. He's had his own company forever. Like, whether or not you like those kind of movies or not is redundant to someone who's literally made millions and millions of dollars essentially doing the job that he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. But now it seems like Demonic Toys is, the second one is actually coming along good since, the first one was like back in the early 90s?
Yeah, the first one was in the early 90s, and he wanted to keep it kind of in his realm, which is, people stranded in a remote area, the toys come to life, and so we had the toys being put back together in the beginning of the film, and, through some set of circumstances, the toys are reanimated where they come back to life and start, shit kicking like good little evil toys should.
Yeah. Last two questions, and we gotta head out. So, is this film a little bit kind of like fixing mistakes from the first film? Because the first film actually had a lot of problems when it first came out.
This film is a continuation of the story. The puppets are put back together. The end of part one, they're all blown together. And the beginning of this one, you see them being sewn back together and put back together. They're purchased by a character, actually, that is from a movie called Hideous that Charlie did. Dr. Lorca is a man who collects oddities, and so we did this really cool thing where we did this crossover character where he came, he's continuing his journey of trying to find oddities, and he buys the toys on his, trip around the world. He has the toys with him, and one thing leads to another, and their last stop on his journey is to buy a toy that's been rumored to be able to move on its own, supposedly possessed, and no one in the group thinks that. They think it's just a mechanical toy, and as it turns out, the doll really is possessed and has the ability to regenerate the other two remaining demonic toys, which are Baby Whoopsie and the Jack-in-the-Box.
Sweet. But now we are out of time, so go ahead and plug in any websites or anywhere for fans to check out Demonic Toys too.
Well, Demonic Toys is available now on Amazon.com. You can buy it there. You can also see it on Time Warner Video on Demand, and it should be coming to some of the cable channels soon within the year. I can't name them because I'm sure the deals are not done, but those I know it'll either be on Sci-Fi Channel or Showtime or one of those, not specifically, but one of those channels like that.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Bill Butler, actor, writer, producer.
Thank you so much for having me.